In the annals of UFO history, few events are as widespread, well-documented, and officially acknowledged as the Belgian UFO wave. Unlike isolated sightings in remote deserts, this phenomenon unfolded over a densely populated European country for nearly 18 months, witnessed by thousands of civilians, police officers, and military personnel. It began on the overcast evening of November 29, 1989, in the German-speaking region of Eupen, near the border with Germany. Around 5:00 p.m., two gendarmes, police officers, Heinrich Nicole and Hubert von Montigny, were on a routine patrol when they noticed a strange light in a field near the road. Initially dismissing it, they soon realized the light was attached to a massive, dark, triangular object hovering silently at a low altitude. The craft had three bright, blinding white lights at each corner of the triangle, and a pulsating red light in the center. What struck the officers most was not just the shape, but the absolute silence. A craft of that size, estimated to be roughly 30 to 40 meters wide, should have been producing a deafening roar of jet engines or rotors. Instead, it hummed almost imperceptibly as it glided over the treetops. The officers followed the object as it moved slowly toward the town of Eupen. They radioed their dispatcher, Albert Kreutz, who initially assumed they were seeing things. However, reports began flooding in from other locations. Over the next few hours, dozens of unconnected witnesses, including other police patrols, reported seeing the same triangular craft. It wasn't just drifting. Witnesses described it performing impossible maneuvers. It could hover perfectly still, then accelerate instantly. It could pivot on its axis without banking, defying the laws of aerodynamics known at the time. One of the most compelling aspects of this first night was the sheer number of independent sightings. By the time the night was over, approximately 143 people had reported the object. The gendarmes described the craft shooting a beam of red light down towards the ground, which then retracted back into the hull, a detail that would appear in later sightings. The object eventually accelerated away at high speed, leaving the witnesses baffled. In the days and weeks that followed, the Eupen sightings were just the beginning. The triangle reappeared across Belgium, moving from the eastern border towards the interior. The Belgian Air Force, initially skeptical, began to take notice as reports accumulated. This wasn't a mass hallucination or a weather balloon. These were structured, solid objects operating with impunity in Belgian airspace. The media frenzy began. Newspapers and television stations were inundated with sketches from witnesses, almost all depicting the same thing: a dark, equilateral triangle with three corner lights and a central red beacon. The psychological impact on the public was profound. This wasn't a fleeting light in the sky. It was a slow, deliberate display of technology that seemed to be observing the population below. As the wave continued into 1990, the Belgian government did something unprecedented. They didn't cover it up. Instead, they cooperated with civilian UFO groups like SOBEPS, Belgian Society for the Study of Space Phenomena, and put the Air Force on alert. They were determined to find out who or what was violating their airspace. If you want to hear about the night the Belgian Air Force scrambled F-16 fighter jets to intercept these intruders and the astonishing radar data they captured, stay tuned and follow the channel for the next segment. The tension that had been building over Belgium for months reached its climax on the night of March 30th, 1990. Until this point, the phenomenon had been a passive mystery, silent lights watched by civilians and police. But on this night, the Belgian military decided to engage. It began with a call from the gendarmerie to the National Radar Center at Glans. Multiple police patrols and civilians were reporting three unusual lights forming an equilateral triangle moving slowly across the sky near Wavre and Torembes-les-Béguines. Crucially this time, the objects appeared on military radar. Two ground radar stations, one at Glans and another at Semmerzak, independently tracked an unidentified target at the same location. The target was moving slowly, but with a strong, solid return signal. Faced with visual confirmation from the ground and double radar lock, the Belgian Air Force scrambled two F-16 fighter jets from Beauvais Air Base shortly after midnight. Their mission was to intercept and identify the intruder. What followed was one of the most spectacular aerial dogfights in UFO history, except only one side was fighting. As the F-16s approached the target, their onboard radars achieved a lock-on. The pilots could see the object on their screens, but the moment they locked on, the target reacted with terrified speed. According to the declassified electronic data, the object broke the lock by accelerating from 280 km/h to over 1,700 km/h, supersonic speed, in a matter of seconds. Even more impossibly, it dove from an altitude of 3,000 meters down to 150 meters almost instantly, a maneuver that would exert over 40 Gs of force. To put this in perspective, a human pilot passes out at around 9 Gs. At 40 Gs, any known airframe would disintegrate, and any biological pilot would be crushed to jelly. The object performed these maneuvers repeatedly, breaking radar locks and playing a game of cat and mouse with the advanced NATO jets. The pilots reported that the object seemed to possess a form of electronic warfare capability, jamming their systems or jumping positions on the radar scope. On the ground, hundreds of witnesses watched the sky. Some described seeing the F-16s chasing the lights, while others saw the lights split apart or fade away. The chase lasted for over an hour. Eventually, the jets, low on fuel and unable to keep up with the impossible physics of their quarry, returned to base. The object disappeared into the night. The aftermath was extraordinary. Colonel Wilfried de Brouwer, Chief of Operations for the Belgian Air Staff, held a press conference, a rare move for a military official discussing UFOs. He displayed the radar tapes and frankly admitted that the Air Force could not explain what had happened. He ruled out conventional aircraft, weather anomalies, and stealth bombers. The U.S. denied any flights in the area. De Brouwer famously stated that there was a logic to the object's movements, implying intelligent control. The radar evidence from that night remains some of the most compelling hard data for the existence of UAPs. It showed an object capable of motionless hover, supersonic acceleration without a sonic boom, and G-forces that defy our understanding of physics. It wasn't just a story, it was a mathematical impossibility recorded by state-of-the-art military sensors. If you want to know about the famous photograph that defined the wave, and the shocking confession that debunked it decades later, stay tuned and follow the channel for the final segment. For nearly 20 years, the Belgian UFO wave was symbolized by a single, iconic image, the Petit Rachin photo. Taken in April 1990, just days after the F-16 incident, the photograph showed a clear, close-up view of the triangular craft. It was distinct, a dark, triangular silhouette against a twilight sky with bright, distinct spotlights at each of the three corners, and a reddish glow in the center. The image was analyzed by experts, including NASA scientists and the Royal Military Academy in Brussels, who claimed it showed no signs of manipulation. For believers, this was the smoking gun, physical proof of the craft that had evaded the Air Force. The photo appeared in books, documentaries, and magazines worldwide. It was the face of the Belgian wave. However, in 2011, the story of the photo took a disappointing turn. A man named Patrick Marichal came forward and confessed to a Belgian TV station that the photo was a hoax. He admitted that as an 18-year-old factory worker, he and some friends had built a model triangle out of polystyrene foam, painted it, and embedded flashlights in the corners. They hung it from a string and photographed it to trick their co-workers. The prank spiraled out of control when it was picked up by the media and validated by experts. The revelation was a blow to the credibility of the wave, but researchers argue that one fake photo does not debunk thousands of sightings. The hoaxer admitted he made the model because everyone was talking about the UFOs they were actually seeing. The photo was a copy of the reality, not the origin of it. It doesn't explain the F-16 radar data, the police reports from UPenn, or the mass sightings that occurred months before the photo was taken. The legacy of the Belgian UFO wave is unique because of the government's response. Unlike the secrecy of Roswell or the dismissal of the Phoenix Lights, the Belgian government and military remained open and transparent. They released their data, held press conferences, and collaborated with civilian researchers. The final report by the Belgian Air Force concluded that they could not identify the nature of the phenomenon, but acknowledged that it represented a potential violation of airspace by an unknown technology. Theories abound. Skeptics suggest the wave was a mass psychosocial phenomenon, triggered by the launch of the F-117 Nighthawk stealth fighter, which had a triangular shape. However, the F-117 is loud, cannot hover, and does not have the light configuration described. Others point to secret black-budget projects like the hypothetical TR-3B Black Manta, an alleged anti-gravity craft developed by the U.S. Yet flying such a secret asset over an allied nation for months without informing them seems strategically reckless. To this day, the Belgian wave remains one of the few unsolved cases that enjoys a high degree of respectability. It proved that UFOs aren't just an American obsession. It showed that when a government treats the phenomenon with scientific curiosity rather than ridicule, the data reveals a genuine mystery, something physical, technological, and vastly superior to our own capabilities was flying over Europe in 1990, and we still don't know who was in the pilot's seat. The Belgian UFO wave teaches us that even the best evidence can be a mix of fact and fabrication. The radar tapes tell one story, the hoax photo tells another. If this deep dive into Europe's most famous UFO mystery intrigued you, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Share this video to keep the search for the truth alive. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next documentary.